Welcome to Hebrew 1. This is a chance for us to practice pronouncing the Hebrew consonants. There are 23 consonants, and remember that we're moving from right to left as we read them. And I like to share a song that I wrote back in 1995. And you can use whatever song that you'd like, but for the course that we're going through, we're going to be using a song that is also shared on our learning platform. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tzadeh, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. The first consonant is Aleph. Aleph is not pronounced on its own, although if it does have a vowel attached to it, and it often will, you will be pronouncing that vowel. But the first consonant is Aleph on its own, unpronounced. The second consonant is Beit. Beit. This is one of the Bagad Kapat consonants. A Bagad Kapat consonant can have two sounds, depending on whether there is a Dagesh Lina or not. Without the Dagesh Lina, it is a soft V, as in vest. With the Dagesh Lina, or the Dagesh Forte, as you will learn, it is B, as in best. The second consonant is Beit, V as in vest, B as in best. The third consonant is, that's right, Gimel. Gimel has the G sound, as in go. Gimel is also one of the 6 Bagad Kafat letters. Bagad Kapat, as we say in this class, because of that hard P sound that we're trying to emphasize. You'll find in other grammars they call it a Bagad Kafat, and I learned it originally as a Bagad Kafat. Pratico and Van Pelt will use Bagad Kafat, but for consistency's sake, Bagad Kapat emphasizes the hard sound. The Gimel is one of those Bagad Kapat letters that only has one sound, even if it has a Dagesh Lina or a Dagesh Forte or not. Gimel, G as in go. Dalet, another Bagad Kapat letter. Dalet, again, like Gimel, as Bagad Kapat letter, it only has one sound, even if there's an absence of the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte or presence. It still has the D as in dot. Dalet. Hey. Hey as in hey. Hey. H sound. You might remember that Mr. Murdoch describes this as the barn being open, so you bring in the hay. This is to help distinguish it from the similar looking letter that will appear later in this lecture. This is one of the guttural letters. Just like Aleph is a guttural letter, so also hey. Note again, the barn door is open, so hey. Wow. Wow. Now this is where several grammars will differ. We're going to follow Pratico and Van Pelt. I learned this letter as Vav. You might read current writings, journal articles that will use Vav rather than wow. For wow, it's W as in way. If the letter is known as Vav, it's V as in vest. Hopefully you'll be able to just distinguish as you're reading through it. A lot of newer journal articles are moving towards W as in way. Zion, Zion, Z as in Zion, Zion. Chet, chet. I've got some congestion, so it's helping me today to get that real guttural sound. Along with aleph and hay, chet. Het looks like hay, but the barn door is closed, and it has the sound as in bach or loch to get your Scottish on. Again, notice that the barn door is closed. Chet, as in Bach or Loch, the Scottish Loch. Tet, tet, t as in toy. This is one of the two t sounding consonants in the Hebrew alphabet. Tet, t as in toy. Yod. This is a y sound as in yes, yod. You may remember again when Jesus is speaking on that mountain to his disciples and to the oxlos, the aretz that's gathered, saying to them that till heaven and earth pass away, one jot, that's a yod, the smallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. One tittle, tittle is the smallest pen stroke that helps distinguish between the letter chet and the letter hey. Calf, calf. This is another one of the Bagad Kafat letters, Bagad Kapat. Again, it takes my brain a chance to catch up with how we're pronouncing the Bagad Kapat, but the without the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte, as in Bach, just like Chet. But when it has the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte, it's K, as in king, calf. Lamed, lamed, l as in lion, lamed, l as in lion, lamed. Mem, mem, yes, as in mar, mar. You're going to learn a verb that sounds very similar to my last name. One of my favorite verbs because when I now see it in context in the Hebrew scriptures, I no longer have to translate it because it's already situated in my mind as its own entity. That's where you want to get. Hopefully you'll get that way with your consonants. Mem, as in mar. Nun, nun, n as in none. In Hebrew too, you're going to learn about what we often call the nasty nuns. I know that's going to give you convent nightmares the next couple of weeks. N as in nun. This is a unique letter. It does some awkward things when it starts to combine with prefixes or suffixes. N as in nun. Samek, samek. S as in sin. S as in sin. Samek. This is what we call a sibilant. A sibilant is a s, has a s sound in it. And of course, this is one of the two consonants in Hebrew that has a s sound. Samek. Ayin. Ayin, our fourth guttural letter. Again, aleph, hey, chet, and ayin. Now, if you've hung around some camels, you probably could hear them preparing to expectorate, and perhaps that would get you close to what we would often hear if we were really trying to accurately pronounce this. However, we just don't have the guttural abilities, and now it's an unpronounced on its own. But when it has a vowel, of course, we pronounce the vowel. Ayin. Pay, pay. This is another one of our Bagad Kapat letters. Bagad Kapat letters. In fact, this is the one that, for consistency's sake, we're going away from Pratico and Van Pelt and a lot of other grammarians who call it a Bagad Kafat letter. We're trying to be consistent because we're using all the hard sounds of those consonants. B, God, K, pot. So without the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte, it's F as in phone. But with the Dagesh Lina or a Dagesh Forte, it's the hard sound P as in pastor, pay. Tsade, tsade. This is one of those letters that you have to, in English, use something at the end, like in the word boots. Boots. Tsade. Tsade. It's also considered a sibilant because of that s sound. So tsade. Tsade. Kof. Kof. This has a k as in king. Very similar to the hard sound of a calf with the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte. Kof also, k as in king. Reish. Reish likes to hang out with gutturals. It doesn't have all the guttural attributes, but it does not take a Dagesh Forte. A Reish has the sound r as in run, r as in run. And as I said, it likes to hang out with the guttural gang, and therefore it resists something called the Dagesh Forte. Here we have sin. Notice the red Dagesh, the red dot that's above. As you are reading this, again, right to left, you don't hit the dot over the first or second, if you will, spoke or prong of the trident, rather the third one. So it's that sibilant, just s as in sin, like Samic, s as in sin. However, for shin, shin, sh as in shin, you do hit that dot over the first prong or spoke of the trident, and therefore you add a little h to it, a h to it, so it's shin. A good way, again, of noticing that is having that dot hit over that first prong or spoke of the trident, if you will, helping to remind you that it's sh as in shin for the consonant shin. Lastly, tau. Again, we're following Pratico and Van Pelt. Other grammarians will pronounce this as tav. I learned it as tav. However, you just have to be aware of some of the variants that are out there, the differences that are legitimate. Don't try to get on a high horse and think that your pronunciation is better than someone else's. Learn the alphabet with consistency to improve your ability to retain vocabulary and various noun, adjective, and verbal forms. In this case, we're going to pronounce this consonant tau, t as in toy, t as in toy, very similar to tet. This is the last of the begad kapat consonants, those 6 begad kapat letters. We will not be pronouncing the 2 sounds, but rather just the singular sound, whether it does not have the Dagesh Lina or whether it does have the Dagesh Lina or Dagesh Forte. It all is going to sound like t as in toy for this consonant tau. Again, Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tzadeh, Kof, Resh, Sin, Shin, Tau. As I was leaving the hospital the other day from doing visitation, I just counted off as I was taking steps across the parking lot this song. Again, just to remind you of our 6 Begad Kapat letters, our 6 Begad Kapat consonants, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pei, and Tau. There's the soft sound without the Dagesh Lina, and then with the Dagesh Lina, what is technically called a weak dot, but a hard sound, you get the hard sound to them for 3 letters, Beit, Kaf and pay. Bait, kaf, and pay. Please remember to memorize these Bagad Kapat letters, and especially the three that when they have the Dagesh Lena have a different sound than when they don't. 5 final forms. There are 5 consonants that when they are at the end of a word take on a different pattern. Basically, they extend below the line, if you will. So for the kaf, you see the extension of that. Be careful that it doesn't look like a dalet. The mem just gets squared off, but be careful it doesn't end up appearing like a samek. The noon just sort of goes down. Beware that it could look like a wow if you're not careful. The pei has the extended tail, and the tzade also has the extended tail as well. 5 final forms: kaf, mem, noon, pei, tzade. Be aware that oftentimes the final form of kaf will take 2 vertical dots called a shva. A shva. These are not vocal, they are silent, closing off the syllable. Be also aware that a Bagad Kapat letter, like pei, could have a Dagesh Lena or a Dagesh Forte. Lastly, the guttural gang, 4 guttural consonants, plus little baby brother Resh, who likes to hang out with the group. So make sure that you're able to identify Aleph, Hey, Chet, Ayin, and then the one who likes to hang out with the guttural gang, Resh. Aleph, Hey, Chet, Ayin, Resh. Be very aware that as you try to develop consistency, it's just going to take actually saying it out loud. You want to get, as we would say, our masoretic mouth muscles moving and just practice over and over. We have 23 consonants. Here they are with their final forms. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod. There's a Kaf, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei, Tzade, Kof, Reis, Sin, Shin, Tau. Or as we like to sing, Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wow, Zion, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Tzadeh, Kof, Reis, Sin, Shin, Tau. And we'll be singing that throughout the semester, and yes, even in Hebrew too.